All right, friends, looks like we're ready to go. Who's ready to meet our next international celebrity here on this stage? Make some noise, Comic-Con, for Jessie D. Usher!
Oh, shoot. You ain't lying. There's a lot more people here today. Yo, what's up, baby? How y'all doing?
Hey, man, standing room only. That's how it
I
works.
can see you. Okay, there we go. Oh, wow. Y'all look nice. Y'all look nice.
How we doing today?
Oh, I'm fantastic, man. How are you? I like blazer number 2.
Hey, man, I told you. This, start putting,
What's that, the Lion King under there? Oh, my God.
Right? Didn't you expect to open the window in the morning and just hear, no,
I did. I was hoping, man.
But I had seen one warthog the whole time I've been here.
Fun fact, my daughter's name is Nala.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. How old is she?
It's a weird couch. Like,
it is.
Supposed to get...
I know Dan sat cross-legged. You can stand if you want. We don't have to sit either.
No. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. Here we go.
So, what did you get into last night?
I slept last night. I think the time difference finally hit me yesterday. It's like I was sort of floating day to day, you know what I mean? And we hit the ground running as soon as I got here. But yesterday, after we left the convention, I had dinner and I went straight to bed. Well, actually, I watched a little bit of tennis. I was watching some of the U.S. Open, and then I went to sleep.
Yeah, that's big.
Then I knocked out. But today, though. No.
So now you feel great.
Now I feel great.
Now you're ready for a great day.
I know you can probably tell. Like, I'm a little louder.
Oh, no, you're on today, which is fantastic.
I feel much better. I slept great.
So now you brought some important people with you here to South Africa, didn't you?
I did. Yeah. I brought my family. My parents are here. My sister's here. They're somewhere over there. They don't love shout-outs, but they're around.
That's super cool, man. I'm so glad to be, like, usually people come with agents and stuff like that, but bringing mom and dad and your siblings.
If I can, I try to travel with my family as often as I can, especially
fantastic.
when we get to go someplace new. You know what I mean? We've never been to South Africa before, so this is our first time here. Thank you guys for receiving us so extremely well.
What
we
are
love you guys? It's been amazing so far.
What are you excited about seeing? Because you're sticking around after the convention for a little bit, right?
Yeah, I'm going to stay around for a few days after. We're going to go out to Sun City. Heard great things about Sun City, so we're going to check that out. And we're going to check out, there's like, Misha's doing a one-man show tonight.
Yep.
If you guys are around, go check that out. We're going to go see him there tonight. So, yeah, we'll be bouncing around,
Well, very fun. So let's talk about we talk a little bit more about the boys today.
This is going to get serious
We
now.
kind of
Okay,
went through the beginning of their career yesterday. So,
So,
you get this source material. You realize it's kind of edgy.
Yeah.
What's it feel like on set when you show up the first day?
Oh, man. First day on set was the day I killed Robin. That was day one. You know what I mean? Boo! She had to die, all right? We wouldn't have a show without her if she's still alive. That was day one, so it was actually a pretty slow and intricate process. I spent the first 3 hours getting covered in blood. And then, we sort of went out and rehearsed the whole thing. They had this crazy camera rig that I'd never seen before. It was like the first time that even the crew had been using it, just so we can get that shot. Because it all happens in one shot, essentially. It, like, starts on Huey, and then it pulls back, and then it goes up, and then it comes down, and then it sees me, and then it goes back to swing and see him holding the hands, and it all happens together. So, we rehearsed the heck out of that. But everybody was, like, so... Seth Rogen was there. I mean, Seth was there, and we were just like sort of getting to know each other. You know what I mean? Nobody really knew what the show was gonna be. We were just excited to be working on a new job. You know what I mean? And like I'm wearing the suit for the first time, so like that felt good. It was great. It was a good day. It was my first time working with Jack, obviously, who I grew to love, and we became super close friends. And just from that day, like I shared a photo the other day of us on our first day, just sort of sitting down, like having a snack. Both of us covered in blood, which we had no idea was going to become like the normal thing, more blood than not, honestly. Yeah.
So how do they film you to make it look like you're moving so quickly?
In pieces. So like the running stuff. And it became a little more complicated as the series started to develop because they started realizing that they can keep more real elements in those moments, whereas before it was like everything had to be locked off, everyone had to like stop moving, and then I would come in and just run in real time, which is far less impressive than like how fast A-Train can run. But, you know, I would come running in real time, do the whole action thing with no one else moving, and then they would sort of glue it together with the green screen. But now, I guess, you know, technology's gotten better. Our visual effects team has gotten a lot better. And, you know, we shoot it in 3 pieces. So now we still do the real-time thing, but people can move. And then we do a locked-off version where the camera doesn't move. And then, you know, we do like a visual pass, as they call it, where I sort of do my thing. And then we do a in-studio version of it where we recreate the same action that like I would be doing on the ground, but suspended from the ceiling, and I'm just floating above like a treadmill, and everything's green, it's painted in green. The treadmill is completely green, the whole background's green, and like, you know, I have these wires on me and stuff. It's actually pretty crazy to do because I'm running not like standing up. I'm running at a 45-degree angle, so like my body's sort of suspended in the air like this, and I'm like doing my thing, and then they glue all 3 of those pieces together, and that's how you get it.
So the first time you saw yourself moving fast on screen, what did you think?
The first time I saw it, I was actually more impressed that they added that train sound effect, because I didn't know that they were going to do that. Like, you know, you never know what they're going to do in post. When I heard that, I was like, is that a freight train that they just added in the back? I was more impressed by that. And then, you know, because it happens so fast. He's like in and then he's out. But it just looks really cool because I watched them dress the set in rubble and, you know, all kind of glass and broken concrete and things like that when we're shooting. But then when you watch it back, to see them sort of create that explosive takeoff is just really, really cool.
So when the episodes come out, like, do you get to see them early? Do you watch it with the cast? What is that process
Yeah,
like?
we do a screening usually of the first 2 or 3 episodes where whoever's in town will come together and we'll all watch it. You know, the directors will be there, showrunners will be there, cast will be there. And we basically just watch at least the first 2 episodes before they come out.
Is that weird with everybody, or?
Nah, man, we're basically just sitting back waiting for the jokes. That's all we do. You know, we're like sitting back to see like what moments are gonna make it in the final cut, you know, stuff like that. Whatever we can remember, because usually it's like a year and maybe a year and a half from when we shoot to when we actually get a chance to see. So, you know, we're trying to like think back of like, okay, what was the craziest thing that like someone would have done on set in this episode and see if it made it in the show. And a lot of time it does. A lot of times like, oh shit, look at that. I can't believe Amazon said yes to that. It's, you know, it's a conversation that we end up having a lot of the time.
So was there anything that you read in a script when you got it that you were like, I have no idea how they're going to do this?
Yeah, for anybody who hasn't seen the show, no spoilers, but the big penis thing, that was one of those where, you know, and I've been on the show for a few years at this point, but under no circumstances did I imagine they were going to build. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys have seen the show, but like in the show, this character gets really small, and he goes inside the tip of a guy's penis, and he does a bunch of stuff. But anyways, they built this like 10-foot tall thing that he could actually like. The actor shows up, you know, he's naked, he's covered in lube, and he dives into this thing like for real, and does like his action inside of it. And I'm like, and when you're reading on the page, it says that it's gonna happen, but you don't think, you know what I mean? Like, you just don't think it's gonna happen like that. And
so
then
probably one of the days you didn't want to see your name on the call sheet.
I wasn't working that day.
Oh, really?
I was actually just passing through the stage. Like, because, you know, we have 8 stages.
Okay.
So our trailers will be way, way off in the corner, and then sometimes you got to cross through 1 or 2 stages to get to the set that we're filming on. So I was just passing through stage one day, and I just seen the 10-foot penis. I was like, oh, my God, bro. You got to put, like, a blanket over that or something. Something. There's a lot of stuff that happens on this show like that. I mean, but the whale was another one that was, like, massive and life size. You know, they built it in 3 pieces and helicoptered it in, put it on the beach.
So how much is practical and how much is?
Everything's practical.
Okay.
Everything is. So that's the thing about the boys that like we love, you know, working on the show, because a lot of times you just don't get a chance to do things for real. Just about everything that they can do practically on the boys, we do.
And what's been your favorite practical set piece to work with?
Oh, favorite I think the whale. The whale was awesome because like once they assembled the whale on the beach, there was somebody, you know, way off to the side who could actually control the whale. So the whale's mouth moves, like its body moves, the tail moves, you know what I mean? As if it was like on shore, like washed up, in pain, whatever. That was kind of cool. That was the first time I ever seen something that massive that actually you could interact with. So like when the deep walks up to it and he's like talking to it, the whale's like turning to him and like talking back. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of cool. It reminds me of like old filmmaking, but like a much better version.
So you clearly all got along. Is there anybody you liked more than somebody else?
More than others? I loved working with Giancarlo Esposito. I think he's incredible already. I was a big fan of his from Breaking Bad. And when you meet him, he's just the coolest guy.
I mean, he worked with Big Bird. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
bro, exactly.
His resume is
insane.
Yeah.
His resume's nuts, and he's so down to earth. He's like, he's so much wisdom, and he's just really cool. Super cool, extremely well-dressed, very well-mannered. Like, yeah, I loved working with him. I love working with Jack, even though we don't get a ton of scenes together. But me and Jack always have a good time. Maybe because we're both tall, so like finally we get to just look eye to eye at another actor, which is rare. So a lot of times we're either, they offset us so that the shorter actors can appear to be close to the same height. So a lot of times I'm either talking to someone, and they're 6 feet in front of me or whatever. But when you get to a face-to-face scene, they're either standing on apple boxes or we got to do camera tricks. But with Jack, side by side.
That's awesome. Is there any advice you've gotten in your career that just resonates always?
Oh, yeah. Tons. I did this movie called Shaft with Samuel L. Jackson a few years back. And, yeah, I know, shout out to Sam for sure. And I was doing a scene. I was doing a scene with this kid, and the kid was crushing it, all right? He was great. And he was improv, and he was so funny, you know what I mean? And I'm just laughing. I'm letting the kid go. I'm letting the kid do his thing. And as I leave the set and I'm walking off, Sam wasn't even working this day. He just shows up, you know what I mean, to bully me from time to time. So he shows up, and he pulls me to the side, and he goes, "Hey, man, this kid's really good." I'm like, "Yeah, he's hilarious." He's like, "Yeah, he's stealing your scene." I was like, "Yeah, I mean, this is his moment. You know, I'm letting him do his thing." And then he pulls me to the side. He goes, "Don't let nobody steal your motherfucking scene." I was like, "Oh shit, okay." And obviously, like he was joking, you know what I mean, but like not at the same time. He's like, "Look, you still gotta shine," you know what I mean? Like whatever it is, you gotta give 100%.
Oh no, because then
100% of the
your
time.
inner monologue goes, "Yeah, I've never seen anybody take a scene for Sam." Like
You've never seen anyone take a scene from Sam. He's going to do something to either throw you off or to like match where you're at, but you will not steal a scene from Sam.
Yeah.
And I get that. I get it. But yeah, I mean, I got great information from him. I worked with a guy named Peter DeLuise for a long time on a show called Level Up. And he's an actor turned director, so like his understanding of the industry, it relates to us as actors pretty well. And he just sort of helped me, I don't know, like my brain sort of expanded just from working with him. He helped me understand what this industry and this business really is. And he helped me like sort of, just sort of acknowledge and respect all of the hard work of every department and like how that all comes together in such a beautiful, well-oiled machine. It's just talking to someone who's that insightful really changed the way that I view this job.
Oh no, because it's hard. When you're on set, like everyone there is the best at what they do.
Everyone there is the best at what they do. They're doing their absolute best every single take. It's 16-hour days, so it's like you forget these things as an actor because they bring you in when it's time to do your thing and then they send you away. You know what I mean? They shoo you off sort of like go to your trailer, go take a nap, go do this, go do that. But if you sit in between those takes and you watch, it's like the moment they yell cut and they send us off, 200 people come in. You know what I mean? And everyone is doing everything. There's somebody over there who's like this piece of tape is like, I can see it. So he's flicking this down so that you don't see that on camera. There's somebody else who's like fixing a light and they're adjusting something. It's just all of this happening at once, and it's really, really beautiful to watch. And then when you see it on screen, you go, holy smokes, like all of those hours, that attention to detail that everybody brought to the table really created, 1 second of something beautiful.
That's why the credits are so long at the end of every movie.
That's why the credits are so long. And everybody is so important to the job. And when you don't have those people there, you really do notice it.
So what do you want to do next? You just want to keep acting? You want to maybe direct, maybe produce?
Man, I'm gonna dress up and come to these cons and just like, I'm gonna cosplay for a little bit, you know what I mean? Not as A-Train though. I know people are like, would you cosplay as A-Train? I'm like, no, I've been doing that for 6 years.
So who would you cosplay as?
Static Shock. I would cosplay as Static Shock. I would cosplay as a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. I would cosplay as a Power Ranger. I mean, there's tons. My fandom runs deep. I've been a fan of anime for a long time and Pokemon.
So what's some
for a
of your
long time.
favorite that was my next question. Like your favorite fans. What are you into?
I was really into Naruto, Dragon Ball Z. I'm really into. I mean, I grew up loving Harry Potter, and those were like my big three. I was really into Pokemon for a long time. And then, I started getting into the Marvel Universe a little bit, like Iron Man stole everybody's heart, I'm sure. So, shout out to Robert Downey Jr. for doing that, because before I wasn't a huge fan of Iron Man, but then after he touched the role, it was like,
oh, no,
this guy's the GOAT.
He changed everything.
He changed everything, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So what Harry Potter house are you?
Slytherin. I've done the test. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And I was happy to hear it, too. That's what scared me a little bit. I was like, oh, Slytherin? Yes.
Well, maybe it's just you look good in green. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
It could be that.
I don't know. Naturally, I was drawn to Voldemort's wand when I went to the Universal thing. So I was like, yeah, maybe. It makes sense.
It's all good. Do you have a favorite line of dialogue that you've delivered in your career that just you always remember that it's like, man, that was the one?
Wow.
And it could be from any of your early stuff from when you were on stage, too.
Wow. I think I have lines that have definitely stayed with me. I think it's more like monologues or like moments or feelings that I've had. Because the thing is like, you learn the words to the point where you can forget the words. So then the words don't matter anymore, but you do remember the feeling that you get in those moments. And there was a lot of moments I had on a show called Survivor's Remorse. I was working with this guy named Ronrico Lee, and me and him, I don't know, we just had like a chemistry that it's very rare, and I haven't experienced it with a lot of other people. And I just remember monologues with him and like moments that we left, and it was just like these crazy outer body experiences, you know what I mean, where you don't even remember necessarily doing the scene. You just remember getting out of it and feeling something real. And there's a lot of those times that it's just sort of stuck with me. So tons playing Cam Calloway on Survivor's Remorse. There's a lot of like punchlines that A-Train has had that I really enjoyed. Just because he's such an asshole, it's really fun to deliver those lines sometimes. There's a lot of stuff that he said to the Ashley character that I really love, The A-Train to Africa shit was so funny, bro. Like in Roots.
Exactly.
Like it was insane.
So is there any part of your characters that you've portrayed that is closest to you as Jessie?
I try to bring a little bit of me to everything. I think that's sort of the trick. You know what I mean? It's like, how can you make this feel like it's your own? And you hear that a lot. Like as you're training as an actor, like, oh, be yourself, make it your own, do your thing, and just as this person. It takes a really long time to sort of figure out what that means. So there's a little bit of me in all of the characters intentionally. I felt like me and the character Cam Calloway from Survivor's Remorse had a lot in common. Just the way that he sort of, his family dynamic and the things that, morally that he sort of stood for. I connected with him a lot. But that Lyle Hugginson character on Level Up, I felt like I was pretty close to him too, just because he had sort of like the same childhood as me, whereas like my sister growing up was super, super cool, right? She was very like popular. Everybody loved her. She was like athletic and like funny, it's like all the stuff. And I had to come in as like her little brother, so I was like pretending to be cool in public, but like deep down I was a nerd. So like I played this character, Lyle Hugginson, who was the same. You know what I mean? Like in public, in school, he's like popular, he's a jock, he's this, he's that, but like he's just a nerd, he's a gamer, you know what I mean? And he enjoys what he enjoys. And I was like, that's me. So I connected with him. I loved playing that guy too. Me and A-Train didn't have a ton in common. I hope, that makes sense to a lot of people. If you know A-Train, Yeah, he made a lot of questionable decisions. And although he was probably the most fun character to play, I just didn't have a ton in common with him.
Wonderful. Last, is there anything that you've done that they may not know about that they should go check you out in?
Ooh, have you guys seen Tales of the Walking Dead? I did an episode of Tales of the Walking Dead that you could check out if you haven't seen that. I mean, I'm sure there's 90% of my career most people don't know. You know, that's just how it is.
Yeah,
though.
that's how it goes.
Is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it is. It's like people know the boys. They're like, oh, I know the boys, and then they realize later that there's other stuff. I mean, Independence Day Resurgence. If you guys haven't seen that, and then I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I have some things up my sleeve that has sort of shaped me as an actor that nobody ever saw. There was a Nickelodeon pilot that I did. And for anyone who doesn't know what a pilot is, it's like the very first episode of a series that basically gets the show sold or made. It's the foundation of whatever. And we shot this Nickelodeon pilot called Summer Camp that never came out. But I think it was like some of my best work. It's like no one ever saw it except for people in the industry. Casting directors, agents, producers, things like that. They got a chance to see it, but the audience never got a chance to see it. And ironically, that did more for my career in the earlier stages than the stuff that actually came out. Because like people saw it and they wanted to hire me based on a project that never got made. It was kind of crazy.
Well, that's awesome.
So you never know. Give it, if there's any aspiring actors out there, give every single moment your all because you really never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they can continue to find you in autographs and photographs.
Yeah. We'll be hanging out all day, so please come by. We'll be taking photos and shooting the shit over at the table and all that good stuff. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to get you over there, get you some lunch, all that good stuff, too. So continue to enjoy your time in South Africa, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Do me a favor, audience, please put your... Oh, actually, hang on. We're going to do this. Stand up. Yeah, we said we're going to do that. So everybody stand up.
Can I get a picture with you guys? Is that okay?
He wants a picture of y'all from South Africa.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, so on the count of 3, you're going to throw your hands in the air, scream, yell, make a whole bunch of noise. We're going to make sure we get ready to go.
Hold on.
You're good.
Here we go. All right.
All right, here we go.
Super wide. Actually, I'm going to take a video if that's all right. Is that cool? All right.
Oh, yeah, so if you called in sick to work today or you're here with somebody you're not supposed to be with, just...
Please, duck. Duck. All right, here we go. All right, 3, 2, 1. Say what's up, South Africa. Yeah, baby! Let's go! A-Train, baby!
One more time, make some noise for Jessie T. Usher.
Love you guys, man. Y'all hold it down, all right? Hold it down. Bye, guys. Bye. Take it easy.
Don't act like you ain't helped me pour that bottle off the shelf. And deep in every weekend, if you couldn't tell, they say teamwork makes a dream work. I had some